Hey everybody, we're going to bring in the ancients, we're going to do another channeling. So just give me a minute and we'll bring in the ancients. We want to talk to you about two topics today. One of them is energy control and how to create your reality. And the other will be what we spoke about in the last channeling, chipping of the human race to make them a 2.0. Your energy is the key to this matrix of maneuvering around it. We told you it's thought, energy, and action. Many of you lack the discipline of the action part of trying to create or change your reality. You'll have the thought and you'll put the energy out and you'll do nothing about it, wishing it. The lack of action contradicts your energy. When you put action into your thoughts and energy, you start to move the energy forward. A lot of it is based on timing and events, lining up events and other people to coincide with the events that you wish to proceed with. So one must take all these factors into play. You also must take into account the life events that you've come here and set up. So you cannot just wish something and hope for it to come true. Now many of you see events going around you and you wish not to partake in those particular events. And we want to inform you, doing all the wishing and saying you're not available and trying to stray away from these events. We're thinking, I will be okay. It's half of the action. You must realize in certain events you will partake in them. You cannot just say, I'm not available for those events. An example would be what we started talking about in the past. Artificial intelligence and the chipping of the humans to make them a 2.0. 5G, they say at the end of the year will be in 20 cities. There's no stopping 5G. It will be linked up. Those of you that say you do not want to partake or not available in that, unfortunately, you will be available on it because there is no action part to contradict the momentum force of what has already taken place of setting up the 5G. Many of you have the thought and the energy, but as we said earlier, the contradiction of not taking action does not complete the process of creating your reality. And when you enter this matrix, you know there are going to be community and global events that will partake. The chipping of humans has already begun, and you live within that reality and matrix, and it will continue. We told you over the next 20 years the chipping of humans will become very rapid. They will present it to you in a way of linking up with your smart devices within your home. Your businesses will use it as an ID. They've already presented it to you as a storage of your medical history. They will also present it to you within your if you have a medical procedure and they want to monitor you. You already have chips in your wallets within your credit cards and debit cards. And they're presented to you as security devices, but our conduit, since he's had the chip in his card, has already had 3 fraudulent charges. So that is a lie. It is to get you ready for the chipping of the human with inside. And your phones are pretty much a chip. They're going to also present it to you virtual reality. If you put a chip within you, you'll be able to partake within a computerized reality or virtual reality. And you have that already. You put the goggles on your head and you play a video game and you get the experience. They've had it in movies in the past, presented to you. And they're gonna bring it to life. You have a chip in you, you could be linked up to your home computer and you could take a trip to Hawaii or to the Caribbean, or you can experience being a baseball player. There are going to be endless opportunities presented to the humans to partake into this game. And once you take into those games, they have you. There'll even be a reality where, as in the movie The Matrix, where the bodies are linked up by wires, to a similar degree, you'll be able to partake in a multitude of realities. Many will even succumb to going into a reality full time. The chipping of the humans and the link up of 5G and artificial intelligence will happen. We do not want you to kid yourselves and say, putting positive thoughts out there saying it won't happen. The gear is already turning and it's already into motion. We do not mean to seem prophets of doom and gloom, because we are not trying to tell you it's doom and gloom, but of your reality, what is going to take place or what already is taking place. And that is part of our message, is that you must become wise and understand how to maneuver within this reality. The action part is what you lack. And if you sit back and think about it, of all those times you've had thoughts and say, this will turn out right and that'll happen. Your mind is very powerful, but we said the formula is a 3-part series of thought, energy, and action. And many of you have the action of a lack of action, which propels the force of an action not to take place. So how do we combat this reality that has already taken place? We are trying to give the message to many people, because what you take with you in this reality, you build upon it as a soul into other realities. And your controllers will present this very uniform controlled world within the future of chipping people. And they'll say, look at these different realities that you can experience within this reality. But it's not real. And they'll entice souls to come here. And it'll look very provoking and enticing from the other side. And the more times you experience it here, the more you will want to come back here and be recycled within that reality. But you must understand, those souls are used as energy sources, because you need the souls within the body to activate it. But your controllers are looking towards a future of integrating bodies with artificial intelligence. and they'll set up their reality the way they want it with a combination of human 2.0 and artificial intelligence within robots. Reality was supposed to be of a free will base to experience it, not to be controlled. Recently, within the last week, our conduit read about bulls that were found with their organs taken out, their blood was drained, and there was no explanation. And this has happened in the past. And if you go onto your devices and look for bulls with their organs removed, you'll see within the last week several bulls were found. That is what we've been talking about, experimentation, looking for the genetic codes of how the living organisms work. What can they produce on a different scale? The evidence is put plainly in sight in front of your faces, but yet no one makes a big deal of it. How do you remove organs, drain blood, and leave the bulls in the middle of a farm with no equipment around it? Quite perplexing. But the ever unfolding conscious of life is expanding right in front of your eyes, and it's trying to be controlled, or you are trying to be controlled, and that was not of the original blueprint. The hijacking of the DNA and genetic material and codes was not part of the grand master plan. Each soul was to be a creator within a certain boundary for the soul to prosper and for the peers of their souls to prosper, not to control or to gain power. As we've always said, it's about a horizontal evolution of consciousness and not a vertical or pyramid hierarchy. And many of your galactic cousins look at the pyramid vertical hierarchy with them on top and you on the bottom. We are here to give a message for many souls to hear, to understand, to awaken, to shatter the paradigm of the realities of what they were taught. This sector will have artificial intelligence. There will be chipping of the humans. But to the extent will be up to you and who will volunteer for it and who will not. They'll entice you with such realities as the filters that you use on your phones to make you more beautiful than what you are. Come into this reality and be the most beautiful person and be with other beautiful people. It will be so enticing and tempting. Many will succumb to it. And your soul will love living in that reality. A reality that's controlled, that's not real. And they'll want to continue to reincarnate into this matrix to experience that artificial reality. Unfortunately, the action part will be resistance in the future, to the point where many will start to realize how dangerous artificial intelligence is. and revolts will happen. As in other sectors, there are wars that go on. And how we see the energies, wars in a couple hundred years seems inevitable. But it will do whatever it takes to break free from your controllers in this sector and return it to the original blueprint of its intention. Much work and energies have been placed within this sector to breed life, to sustain life, to evolve life, and to give it up in the blink of an eye is not the answer. But to sit back and take no action is a form of action, which means the momentum of the global action, of the implementation of artificial intelligence and the chipping of the humans to the 2.0 will continue to progress. That is where the energies are going into the future. At this point, the simple answer is to educate many people of the dangers of what's lying ahead. And at this point, the tipping scale will be how many souls will partake into this new human 2.0 / artificial intelligence versus those that don't. That is what we are hoping and banking on, that many of you will spread the message, understand the message, and take action in realizing not to partake in those particular events. And our mission is to educate you as a soul, so when you do go into the other side, when you transition, you have the knowledge, skills to understand you do not have to come back here or partake into a reincarnation cycle, that you can break free of those chains at any time, and to only look for your higher self. Because we will tell you, your soul groups or your certain so-called guides and guardians, some of them do not have your best intentions. Some of them work for the controllers. Some of them present themselves in a benevolent kind of way, tricking you, thinking that your soul is evolving into a higher consciousness or ascending. And that is not the case. And we said in the last channelings, if you really think about it, when you come into this sector or matrix, everybody makes mistakes. Nobody is perfect. So how do you achieve nirvana or perfection in this matrix when you know you're going to make mistakes and create so-called karma? It's how it's presented to you when you transition. We suggest you take your own power and realize you're in charge of your own evolutionary consciousness of your soul. You dictate where you go and how you go about things, and you dictate if you want to come back or not. Free will exists on the other side, but it's been hijacked like it has been in this sector. The old saying, as above, so below. You've been conditioned, taught through your community, society, and religions to believe certain facets. and you take those beliefs with you. You do not shed those personalities right away when you transition. And it's presented to you as your soul will evolve. And we stress to you once again, souls were not meant to come here to suffer. That was not part of the original plan. It was not to be all these challenges for evolution. It was to experience the physical, to be in charge of your physical, to create a reality using your energies, to be as one, not to be cut off from your higher self or from each other or from nature. That's where the disconnect has been. Your body was supposed to be designed as a flawless, rejuvenating, self-healing, all-empowered piece of human evolution that's never been seen before. A very powerful body. But that was changed and cut off. And instead of being a superior, evolutionary, bipedal, you became a looked upon down lower life form. Because your galactic cousins feared this genetic new bipedal form, vastly superior than many other life forms within a beautiful environment. You would be surprised to know that some of your galactic cousins live in a very mundane, dark, sad environment. That's why this sector is sought after so much and fought after. So we ask you to spread the word, partake in the education of your peers in what will be coming in the future. And do not be naive about how you control your reality. Because once again, no matter how much you do not want to partake or be available for this reality, it is unfolding within you, in front of you. 5G is being implemented, and it's not going to stop. The chipping of humans has already begun. The artificial intelligence of running your appliances, your jobs, streetlights. Soon robots will be sprawling through your communities, which already has been. Cameras everywhere watching you. Drones flying above you, identifying you. Chips in your credit cards, knowing where you are at all times. Your phones. Keeping an eye on your behaviors. What you do, when you do, where you go. It's all being tracked. You are sheep, and you do not realize it. And you're being herded into the next phase of the human 2.0 and a society of controlled species. It will take action, unfortunately, to break this cycle. And that's the reality of what will take place in the future. All right, everybody. Hope everybody liked that channeling. If you liked the video, please subscribe to it. Please share with your friends, and that's it. Take care.